So good morning, Gate City Rotary. How's everyone doing today? Good, good. Great to see so many people out here this morning. What a great breakfast, what a great morning at Gate City. So we will start out with our invocation pledge four-way test. Tom Nelson.
All right. Y'all will join me in a prayer to the God of your faith. Let's pray. Dear Lord, this is the day that you have made, and we rejoice and we are glad in it. We ask that you will lead us today. Help us go through this day with grace, with a happy heart, and with love for our neighbors. Please bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and us for thy service. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the things that we think, say, and do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Rotary moment you want to share?
Yeah, I'll share I don't know that it's a Rotary moment, but it's a Rotary practice that when I first started coming to Rotary, I was struck by the fact that every week we do two things that to me was refreshing. And that is, we gather as a group and we all pray together, and then we all stand up as a group and say the Pledge of Allegiance. And there are not too many places that I attend these days that we do that. And that was very refreshing. It got me to come back.
All right, well, we have a lot of guests and visitors this morning, so our Sergeant at Arms report.
All right, good morning. First and foremost, we have our honorary Gate City Rotarian, Deborah Friedman, is here with us. It's good to see Deborah, and Carl Ashby is here. We also have Sam Hummel. And Fred Bender. And we have many guests this morning. Dennis Morcott, would you like to introduce your guests?
This is Don Fawn. Morning, everybody. Good
morning.
Thanks for having us this morning. And this is Lucy Chamberlain.
Hi, lovely to meet everybody, and thank you for having me.
Dan Quinn.
All right, I'm just proving the sweat. Well, no, I'm proving the sweater vest. I have two beautiful women and no sweater vest. My daughter Catherine and my wife Judy are here today.
Dale Hopkins.
I've got Mr. Mike Moore with me today, a good friend. I'm honored to have him with me.
Guy Ravondo.
I have Dr. Sherman Thurman with me. A lot of you know him. He's an optometrist in town. Sherman has the distinguished honor of being an Iron Man. He also has 4 kids. So.
John Smith.
My guest this morning is Dr. Rod Mortensen. He's a veteran of the United States Navy, and he's a surgeon with Moorhead Memorial Hospital, and a friend of mine.
Tom Richardson.
Stand up, Mary. This is Marion Ragsdale. She's an old friend of ours from Green Valley, Sternberger. Her kids went to school with my daughter. She works for Sanctuary House, which is a group we've sponsored in the past.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much. You just gave us a grant in September for $500. So thank you for having me, and thanks for supporting us.
All right, and Bobby Christensen.
I have a special guest this morning. Some of you may know this, but for those of you that don't, this is a unique man. He grew up in New York City, the corner of 1st and 65th. In 1942, he got on the train, sight unseen, and came to Guilford College and to play basketball. And in March of his freshman year, he got his draft notice, and he reported, said he'd be glad to go, could he wait till May and finish the semester, and they said no. Next thing you knew, they put a rifle in his hand, and he was on the troop ship with Patton's 3rd Army, and went through Normandy D-Day plus 14. That was probably a lucky break there, but anyhow, part of the generation that saved the world, and he came back to Guilford, finished his degree, and raised a family of 4, and I'm the youngest of those 4 kids as my father.
And we'll introduce the speakers momentarily, but do I listen to guests? Do you have any more?
Well, a warm welcome to all our guests and visitors this morning. So birthdays and anniversaries, we didn't actually have any club birthdays this week, but we're very happy to recognize Nisi has a birthday tomorrow. So I know we generally only sing when it's their actual birthday, but let's go ahead and sing Nisi happy birthday this morning. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nisi. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. All right, I don't know, do we have any announcements this morning, Steve? Did you want to say Camp Carefree? Yeah.
Yes, please. So you probably, most of you got an email last week. We finally got the dates for Camp Carefree, May 15th and 16th. It's Friday and Saturday. Friday we're going to go and do a lot of the cleaning and prepping for the walls and the ceiling to paint. Depending on how quickly that goes, hopefully we'll be able to get the primer on. And then Saturday will be just painting. It's all indoors, so weather's not going to be an issue. It's not hard labor. It's just painting. So everybody can help. Bring the family, bring the kids. I know my family will be out there on Saturday. And we need everybody, though. There's 3 fairly decent sized cabins, would you say, Dale? And they're pretty decent sized. Walls and ceiling. That's going to be good. What? The date again? May 15 and 16, Friday and Saturday. I figure we'll go about 9 o'clock in the morning, probably till about 5 at night, you know, or depending on how quickly we get there. So it's going to be great. They're picking out colors right now, which may be interesting. So, colors now are terrible. They're real dark. We'll hopefully be better. But please, if you got the email, please do that. I'll send it out again from Sign Up Genius that we do need a lot of hands to help.
Yep. So this is our big spring project, so hope to see everyone out there. And I guess, Erica, we don't know rescheduled Powder Puff?
Not yet.
Okay, so yeah, unfortunately the Page Interact Club's Powder Puff game was rained out yesterday, so we'll get the news out when that's rescheduled.
Yes.
Any other announcements? So Happy Dollars.
Happy Dollars! All right.
You know, I do this every time to him, but Sam Hummel, you know, for all of y'all, you know, we get new people in the club all the time, and people don't know about Sam Hummel. And Sam is one of our founding fathers. He's a member of Crescent Rotary, but he was one of the guys that came from Crescent to help start this Rotary Club. And if you like the enthusiasm and the fun that we have at this club, it's directly a result of him and Joe Gothrop, who came and sort of got this group, set the tone for what this group was, and his name is engraved on her bell. So if you ever want to go and look and see Sam's name, but it's always an honor for you to be here.
Thank you very much.
I haven't been here in quite a long time, and I walked in and I thought this was a palace in here, and I can see the prestige of this club required that this place raise the roof. I've never seen such an impressive place, but the only thing that's more impressive is the membership here. You guys are the best club anywhere around. So, good for you.
Mr. Christensen, it is an honor. We hear about you all the time, so it's about your golfing prowess, and so it's a great honor for you to be here.
Chip, I won't cut this one off. Yesterday, went down to Charlotte to visit my daughter and her husband, Matt Almond, and I got to meet my new granddaughter, Natalie Carlisle Almond, 5 pounds, 5 ounces, delivered by cesarean yesterday at about 10 after 10 in the morning. And we got in there and visited and saw, and the most exciting thing all afternoon was we threw out the names of grandparents and things like that, and I said, I'll take whatever I get, no problem, but I think somebody needs to be a Meemaw. and my mother's name was Nanny always, as was her grandmother, and so on and so forth. And so some divorces and marriages went on, but last night around the dinner table, there were 3 grandmothers over glasses of wine arguing about who wasn't going to be Meemaw.
Well, once you get named, you'll have to let us know.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think you just roll with it, you know, whatever it is.
For anybody that read our guest biography, I just wanted to tie a connection into Gate City Rotary. There was a mission that he flew in Vietnam, and Gate City has built a kindergarten in that province, and we have a water project going on now. So we are deeply connected.
Got an email from Chip and the Past Presidents Committee this week confirming that Out of the Garden Project got awarded a sponsorship for this year. That's a charity that's near and dear to my family's heart. I wouldn't even have known about it if Don hadn't came here and spoke when I was just started a Red Badge member. Got engaged, saw Don playing tennis a couple of weeks later, and my family and I, we go over there and try to go over there a couple of times a month. And really, his focus on feeding hungry children in Guilford County is special to us. So appreciate the Past Presidents Committee and everyone here at Rotary.
Well, it's not every granddaughter gets born on a new stock market. Not every granddaughter can say that. You know, my daughter's about to have baby number 3, and this thing's about to come to an end, but you can imagine, she's the inventor of the lighted Christmas bulb. Things are just a little bit crazy down in Greenville, South Carolina. They're trying to rearrange the house, make room for this new one. I asked her the other day if she had her bags packed, and it sent her into a complete and utter panic. The present youngest one and his super dog pulled out his tooth, and when you know it, Tooth Fairy forgot to show up. So next morning, Dad and Jackson, 7 years old, went under the bed. Darn if they didn't find this note with $2. It said, "Dear Jackson, I am a new Tooth Fairy. Your previous Tooth Fairy is out on sick leave while she is doing quite well. She's about to have a fairy baby, and her wings were not made big enough to carry such a heavy load. So I am new, and I'm glad to get to be your fairy. I heard you were a brave boy yesterday, and with the help of your super dog, you pulled your own tooth. Wow. Have a great day, George." So, end of the day, things always seem to come together.
How many of y'all forgot to put your money under the pillow? Under the bed!
Just a real quick plug for a gentleman that came and spoke to us about the ALS a few meetings back. That's this Saturday at Summerfield. So if anybody's so inclined, y'all to go out there and support that.
On behalf of Youth for Christ City Life, I'd like to thank the Great Gate City for the grant that we got this year. We thank you very much. All right.
April 3rd, my daughter and her husband gave birth to their 3rd son, and so for a variety of reasons, it was a very good Friday.
Wonderful, Well, in honor of April 15th, always makes me think of something Grandpappy Lewis always said, which was, you can't always get what you want. But if you try, sometimes you might find you get what you need. taken away by the government.
All right, well, so without further ado, I think, Bobby, are you introducing our distinguished speaker this morning?
Sure will.
All right.
We have a very special guest speaker this morning. I meet once a month with a group of pilots. Some are old, and I'm probably the youngest one in the group, and many of them are ex-military, and we drink beer and tell dirty jokes and talk about flying, and it's a great time. But back in the winter, I met Lieutenant Colonel Frank Montgomery, and he spoke to our group. And he had a lot in common with those in the room. Matter of fact, one fellow is a retired general, and come to find out they had flown the same mission in Vietnam one time. Franklin Blair Montgomery, he's 91 years old, born in 1923, same year as my father. Raised in High Point, he was in the Army Air Corps at the age of 19, married to Cynthia Smith, and together they raised 4 sons. He served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He retired with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. He has several awards, including a Silver Star. I believe he witnessed the flag raising on Iwo Jima, flew P-51 fighters, escorted the B-29s in the bombing of Japan. In Vietnam, under heavy enemy fire, and maybe in the same area Dan Quinn was talking about, he flew a C-130 in, and I think the plane in front of him was shot down, and under heavy fire he landed and rescued 150 people. And he received a Silver Star for his gallant bravery. He still lives in High Point. His wife Cynthia died some years ago, and he has a guest with him. Frida Williamson is his assistant, and Frank's going to tell us some great war stories, and thank you for saving our country. If it wasn't for veterans like this, we'd probably be speaking either German or Japanese or both. So, Frank?
Thank you, Bobby. Can you hear me in the back? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Thank you. If you can't, if it comes to a point where you can't hear, I'll lose my voice, raise your hand, I'll try to speak up. It's a pleasure and for me to be here. Not only a pleasure, an honor. I can see why you have a backlog of speakers to come. I know why now. But Bobby did not, I'm sorry to hear that, he did not tell me you're supposed to pay the speaker.
I'll take that.
I do not know Bobby well. I know him. I do know him well. I haven't known him long. He's very thorough, detailed, gracious, and a pleasure to meet you, have met you. And I thank you for inviting me here. And I couldn't do without Frida. She's my assistant, helps me in every way now, 91 years old. I'm not, but she's not. But I asked Bobby, Bobby asked me to come here. I said, Bobby, what do you want me to talk about? He said, well, you were in World War II, weren't you? I said, yes, I was. And his father was also. So I said, but Bobby, what I would like to do, I'd like to talk to you, your group, about Guadalcanal, the Battle of Guadalcanal. You ever heard of that? It's a battle, World War II, early on after Pearl Harbor. Now, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, they did great damage to our Navy. Great damage. It was a total, complete, absolute surprise. They had free rein. They did a lot of damage real quick. After that, they had free rein in the Pacific. Wherever they went, they took. They had no, when I say no, minimum opposition. They wanted this island, they took it. Until they met the 1st and 7th Marine Division in Guadalcanal. It's the first time they'd been stopped. There wasn't war's not over, don't misunderstand that. This was 6 months after Pearl Harbor. You know what Bobby said? Bobby said, Frank, no, don't talk about Guadalcanal. They all know about Guadalcanal. It's on TV, History Channel. Please talk about something else. I said, okay, Bobby, that's fine with me. I'd like to talk about the Battle of Midway. The Battle of Midway. In war, in battle, both sides want to make doubly damn sure the other side doesn't know what you're going to do or what you're thinking. Secrecy of all. But we've tricked them. The United States tricked Japan. Here's how did we trick them? A very, very, very simple trick. But it worked. It doesn't have to be complicated if it works. We told, the American told the people, see, Midway is one of the islands in the Hawaiian chain. And Japan was going to invade and take this island, one of the Hawaiian islands. We sent a message to our people on Midway and we asked them to send us a statement that they were short of water. It was not true, but they wanted this message to be picked up by Japan. So they sent the message that we're short of water. The Japanese picked up on that, and later in their messages to their people, they said, we're going to invade that island that is short of water. You know what? We knew exactly when they were coming. We also knew when they were coming and met them and devastated them. We sank, they had 4 aircraft carriers, and we sank all 4 of their aircraft carriers within a short 30-minute period of time. You know what Bobby said? Frank, don't talk about that. Everybody knows about that. Anyway, talk about something else. I said, Bobby, I just don't know what you want. What do you want, Bobby? You know what he said? He said, Frank, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Who you are, where you came from, maybe what you did. In your life of 91 years, a lot of things have changed and happened. Can you tell us about some of those changes and something about when you went into the service? I said, well, Bobby, how long you got? I said, I'll try my best to do that, but it won't be nearly as exciting as these battles. So with that, here I go. Bobby just told you I was born in High Point in 1923, little 15,000 people. We had automobiles, but not many. We had roads, but not many paved. What I remember as a child, old enough to 5, 6, 7 years old, the freedom I had. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, I had total, in my mind, freedom to run the streets, to run the neighborhood. I didn't run far on the streets, but the neighborhood, backyards. One thing that strikes me today is the fact that every window and every door in every house in High Point was wide open for 6 months and never locked and never closed. Why? Why? No air conditioning. Also, in the wintertime, the warmest room in the house was the kitchen. Why? That's where the cook stove was, the wood-fired cook stove. That's the only heat. I've lived in a typical house. We had no air conditioning, no central heat. And because the cook stove was cooked 3 times a day, meal. So I remember that 2 major changes. Another interesting thing for me at that time, 6, 7 years old, every day in the summertime, a horse-drawn ice cart, ice wagon would come down the street. Well, all the kids in that block, 5, 6, 7 years old, run along behind that horse-drawn ice wagon, and he wouldn't stop at every house. You know the house he'd stop at? I'll show you. The women on the street have a chart. They put this on the door. Hang it up. I want 50 pounds. I want 25 pounds. He'd read this from the street and carry 25 pounds, chip it off, carry it to the rear to put it in the ice box. No refrigeration. I thought that was it. Very crude, simple, effective. A change, Bob, there's another change for you right now. Went on through high school. I finally made it through high school. I graduated in June 1941. I made it. Big day. 6 months to the day, what happened? What happened? What happened? Pearl Harbor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something. Pearl Harbor was devastating at that time for everybody in the United States. It's reverberating today, 70 plus years later. It was a big day, a bad day for the United States. We were devastated. What to do? Here I was, fresh out of high school. I knew everything because I just graduated. I could do anything because I was on the track team, I was on the football team. The realization is, what happened was, I did not know anything, and I couldn't do anything. 18 years old, 19 years old. You figure the math, I'm not. What to do? Well, I really don't want to leave Pearl Harbor soon because it was such a traumatic day for everybody in the United States. If there's going to be a test after this speech, this is it. This is the answer. I want you to learn it because this is it in my mind. All gave some. What does that mean? Everybody in the United States gave. They gave. They did not give, Roy. They did not give. Did everybody in the United States give? All gave some. Some gave all. Thank you, Roy, for being here. I'm thankful for being here. A lot of us didn't make it back. This may be on your test. All right, I'm about lost. I need some help. Excuse me. Excuse me just a minute. Thank you, sweetheart. Sorry about that. What to do? Fresh out of high school, didn't know anything, couldn't do anything. What do you do? What? Tell me, what should I do? What should I have done? I joined the service. Like everybody else did. Men and women. Some, I've heard a lot of figures, I don't know whether it's true or not, some 27 million women and men went to the service over that period of time. And I did. I joined the Army Air Corps, signed up as a pilot in the Air Corps. There was no Air Force at that time. Air Force, the United States Air Force was not established until 1947, 3 years after the war. 21 months later, after going into training, I graduated from flying school. Flying school is four different, I'll use words, section, different location, different airplane, different training. Basic training airplane, primary airplane, and advanced. All different, it steps up a little bit, hopefully. I graduated from flying school in Texas in March the 6th, 1944. They called it Class of 44. ABC, 1, 2, 3, January, February, March. That's how you remember it. March of 44. 44. 3 things happened. I was commissioned, 2nd lieutenant, gold bar. Second thing, they called me a gentleman. The third thing, I went to flying school. 1, 2, 3. What's the third thing? My wings. I could fly now. So, my first assignment, training all the time, it's always training more and more and more and more. The first assignment I had, the first squadron I was assigned to, the 78th Fighter Squadron, where was it? In Oahu, Hawaii, Pearl Harbor. Not Pearl Harbor, but right there that's where Pearl Harbor is. But this is the squadron I was assigned to, 78th Fighter Squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, you may think I'm lying to you. You may think I'm exaggerating. That's a finest flight. That's a fighter squadron in the United States Air Force. Other people may argue with me on that, but I'm going to stand it down. Because I'm going to tell you something. Here, now listen. I want you, can you hear me in the back? I want you to hear me because I ain't lying to you. This squadron that I'm holding in my, the 78th Fighter Squadron, is in Las Vegas, Nevada today. Las Vegas, Nevada. You know what they're flying? Come on, guys, what are they flying in Las Vegas, Nevada?
Thunderbirds. Drones. Thunderbirds.
Drones. Drones. Where?
From Las Vegas.
Afghanistan.
Afghan all over the world.
My squadron, this is my squadron. They're flying drones out of Las Vegas, Nevada, halfway around the world. I don't understand it. Well, but when I was in there, I was in Hawaii, a little bit of heaven, flying P-51 airplane flying P-51 there, you know what that is? Fighter. How are you? Springtime, the cap.
Oh, the cat.
Springtime year round. I gotta wear my hat. Springtime year round, P-51. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country, beautiful assignment. Flying P-51. Bobby, you checking the time.
You're good.
I heard a voice. A voice came. I don't know who it was. I didn't see anybody. Get on that ship. Told me to get on that ship. You're shipping out. I said, no, sir. No, sir. I ain't shipping out. I got me an airplane. I'm going to fly out, but I ain't going to ship out. You know what I did? You know what I did? I shipped out. But Bobby, see, I really am a slow learner. I came, a voice told me to ship out, I shipped out. But it took me 30 years, Bobby. It took me 30 years to get through that thick skull of mine that I should have stood my ground. I should have told that, whoever that voice was, who I am and what I was going to do. I should, today, or 30 years later, the communication would go something like this. Sir, you want me to ship out. Okay, I'm going to ship out on this silly little ship. But my mother needs to know where I'm going. Because if I get into trouble, she can come and get me. He may have said, well, Sonny, you tell your mama you're going to a little island out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The name of this island is Iwo Jima. Now this is a worthless piece of island. The only thing valuable about it, it just happened to be between where General Curtis LeMay. General Curtis, you ever heard of him? He has a bunch of B-29 down here on Guam. Every day he flies those B-29 1,500 miles to Japan and 1,500 miles back. What's that? 3,000 miles?
Round numbers.
The same distance from the east coast to the west coast of the United States. A long distance, extreme distance even for B-29. He loses too many airplanes on that long trip. Up to 10%. He can't live with that. What he said was, what Curtis LeMay said, I fly over halfway to Japan, I fly over this little island down here. It's called Iwo Jima. If we took that island and put some long-range P-51s on that island to escort my B-29s as they fly to Japan, it's going to cut my losses down. We're going to shorten the war. Well, Mama thinks that's a pretty good idea. Mama wants to know if they're friendly people on that island. Son, you tell your mama there ain't no people on that island. No civilian. There's not a house, not a church, not a school. There's only one thing on that island. One thing. 24,000 Japanese soldiers. You know what Mama said? She said, are you going to send a message to those Japanese soldiers to move out so my son can go in there and fly to Japan? Son, we ain't going to send no message to the Japanese. We got a better idea. this Curtis LeMay, General Curtis LeMay, has a friend of his. His name is General Howling Mad Smith. And he was howling mad all the time. In fact is, I still intend to go back through his records and see if howling mad is not on his birth certificate. Howling Mad Smith is the head of the Marine Corps. And we're going to ask Howling Mad Smith to send a few of his Marines down there and encourage these Japanese to move out. Well, Mama thinks that's a pretty good idea, but she hopes there wasn't any trouble about it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Well, Bobby, I'm not going to cover the Battle of Iwo Jima. You wouldn't want me to do that. You all know about that. There's been movies made about that. 2 movies.
John Wayne. Sands of Iwo Jima, John Wayne, 1954.
2 movies. One from the Japanese perspective. What's his name? Okay, I think I went at 2 o'clock in the morning. The guys that made the movies.
Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood.
Help me.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's movie. Sorry about it. Thank you, Frida. That's why I brought her. She knows all this stuff. So, that's what we did. That's what I did. I escorted Curtis LeMay's B-29s over Japan until the end of the war. Until the end of the war. Help me, Bobby.
You good?
Okay. What do you do at the end of the war? What did you do when the war's over? Tell me. Help me.
Ship home.
You get out. Everybody, when I say everybody got out, a lot of people got out. I got out. I got married. Cynthia and I had a son. About 3 years later, I was called back into the Korea War. From there, from that point on, I was in the service, moving around. My wife and I, for 28 years, we moved 25 times. I flew 28 different airplanes over that period of time. I don't know, you're not interested in that, but it was to us at that time. We were nomads pretty much. But you know, my wife never complained about moving. It wasn't a question. Can I move? Should I move? You want to move? No. Move. And I learned pretty soon, when they said, get on that ship, ship out, I shipped out. They said, move, I moved. No argument. I know my time's up, so I would like to say this. I'm proud of that flag. I'm proud to be in the United States military service for 28 years. I'm proud to be in this group with each one of you this moment now. With that said, I want to salute you all.
can you say?
I know. Thank you so much. What a special treat to have you here today. Let's see. We can get you to pick the ticket here today. Yep, and so the last three numbers there. Okay. 052.
Oh, hey.